HAB-U University presents Resolving Conflict. Can't we all just get along? Conflict is a natural part of any workplace, including here at the HAB-U Corporation. When you have a group of thinking, caring people with competing wants, desires, and needs, conflict is going to happen. Throw in working under stress and many differing personalities, there's bound to be issues. When conflict is left unresolved, people become emotionally invested in the rightness of their position and the wrongness of the position of the other person. Once that happens, resolving conflict becomes much more difficult. So it's important to deal with conflict as early as possible to help prevent people from becoming emotionally invested in the issue. So how do you diffuse a situation with someone who's lit by anger or just unresponsive to open discussion? It's not easy, but there are ways. Here are some proven conflict resolution strategies that can help you work through a volatile situation. Forget about winning or being right. The only victory in conflict resolution is a mutual one that results in de-escalation, finding common ground, and both parties feeling satisfied. Viewing the person on the other side of the conflict as your opponent will doom you to remain adversaries. Forgetting about winning can be difficult, especially if you have a history of butting heads with a particular individual. But conflict, when approached with the idea that you want to fix the problem instead of win the argument, enhances the possibility of resolution. So ask yourself, would you rather be right and score points, or would you rather be a decent human being? Don't blame. Look for root cause. We all know very well that people make mistakes. Identifying an individual's mistake without blaming them is possible. You can do so by searching for the root cause, the point at which things went wrong. Did this individual have the right information to do their job correctly? The process is not followed as they typically should? Was there a breakdown in communication? Were they having a bad day and I inadvertently threw gasoline on the fire? Focusing on fixing the process instead of blaming the person not only helps prevent mistakes in the future, it can leave others confident that you have their back when things go awry. After all, we all make mistakes. Work through communication style differences. Many workplace conflicts are born of different communication styles. You may say one thing and a coworker may interpret it differently than you intended. Our style of communication tends to naturally rub other styles wrong, even with no malice intended. And the challenge of differing communication styles are exacerbated when using technologies such as email, phone, WebEx, working remotely, etc. Factor in diverse personalities and communication preferences, and there are even more opportunities for communication breakdown that can lead to conflict. Learning the communication style and preferences of others can go a long way in preventing conflict from even arising. For example, if you have a coworker who likes information quick and dirty, don't elaborate. Get to the point quickly. If you have a coworker whose feelings are easily hurt, then choose your words carefully to not sound combative. Get the point? Finally, don't internalize and take personally the communication styles and preferences of others. Almost always, this is not specific to you. This is their communication style with everyone. Don't think, why do they act that way towards me? Instead think, while I wish they would communicate differently, I recognize this is their style with everyone. Thinking this way liberates you from taking things personally. Meet face to face. Many introverts may shudder at this one, and understandably so. Dealing with conflict in person can be pretty scary, but is nonetheless incredibly important. We need to be able to read one another's body language and hear tone of voice, as they are important cues for understanding spirit and intent. Email and phone calls all offer more opportunities for communication breakdown than good old-fashioned face-to-face meetings. Email is ineffective and offers time for resentment and negative feelings to marinate, along with the high possibility that your words may be misinterpreted. Phone calls rob us of important emotional cues in the other party's face and body language. In short, many conflict resolution techniques simply lose their potency when separated from visual, verbal and emotional cues of a face-to-face conversation. This does require a bit of vulnerability on your part, and you will need to learn to be comfortable displaying certain emotions while keeping other emotions in check, and doing so in the heat of the moment. Let me speak to people leaders for just a moment. As a leader handling conflict between team members, forcing people to have a conversation before they're ready could be a bad move. They may feel pressure to kiss and make up without any real discussion or resolution, especially if the manager is present for the conversation. Depending upon your read of the individuals, it may be best to meet with each party separately first. Give each the opportunity to vent a little, to feel listened to, and to take emotional inventory. This will also give you a better understanding of whether or not you should encourage these employees to work it out for themselves, or if a third party should be present to help mediate and prevent the conversation from escalating. And work to get them together to talk it out. Restate their position. Finding the source of an individual's frustration and articulating it out loud back to them shows that not only are you willing to listen, but that you're a good listener. Articulating concepts and feelings that the other party expresses is an essential part of the conflict resolution toolkit. When you articulate their position and how they are feeling back to them, this will either confirm to them that you understand their point of view or give them an opportunity to point out any discrepancies in your understanding of the issue. As communication is at the heart of every successful conflict resolution technique, the importance of listening and showing them that you've listened by rephrasing not only aids in this current situation, but it sets the proper tone for dealing with future conflict. Admit your mistakes. Sharing your own missteps in the conflict creates an open atmosphere for others to evaluate their own behavior. The more often you do so, the more likely it is that the other person can move off of their firm, fixed position and admit their mistakes as well. If everyone feels safe when offering up their own missteps, it sets the tone for open discussion and a resolution that works for everyone. Use I statements versus you statements. Starting your sentences with the word you sounds attacking and accusatory, even when not meant that way. Starting your sentences with I removes blame from the conversation. For instance, instead of saying, "You shut down the conversation and you wouldn't let me speak my mind," it would be much more effective to say, "I never felt like I had the opportunity to share my side of the story." See, no accusation, just sharing how you felt things went down. This helps prevent people from feeling they have to defend themselves and offers them an opportunity to clarify or to apologize on their own. Communicate takeaways and apply what you learn. What's the point of all these uncomfortable conversations if we don't come away with learnings to improve our dynamics moving forward? Stating actions that each party will take in the future arms people with a game plan that will make conversations much easier going forward and could potentially de-silo the relationship once and for all. Stating to one another what you commit to doing going forward also holds you accountable to one another, thus improving the chances you will keep your commitment. So remember, resolving conflict is not a competition. You need to employ conflict resolution techniques that help show the other person that you put fix before blame, that communication is a two-way street that you value, that you own your mistakes, and that you care about them as a person. Go ahead, give it a try. Your coworkers here at the HabBits Corporation are well worth it.